Welcome everybody to the session today, kindly arranged by Benjamin. My name is Anna Lobb. I'm VP for Media and Publishing for the EMEA region. My role is to work with publishers around Europe to help them identify opportunities for growth. And I'm going to be running the session today, just making sure that we keep on track of time and make sure that you guys get all of the information that you need from the call. Before we start, usually what I would suggest is a round of introductions. However, I think we have quite a large group, so by the time we do that, we might have eaten up a good 15 minutes of the session. So perhaps if somebody wants to advocate for ZGO and just maybe introduce the teams that are on the call and the most important topics that you'd like for us to cover today. And then I'll introduce the rest of the team from Aptitude, if that's okay.
That sounds great. I think we have nearly every part of the company, our company here. So we have Joachim, our chief editor. We have customer service, which is Silke, and Gina here. We have from our digital team, we have Tizian here, Marsha, and Christina. Hopefully I don't miss anyone. That's so many people. And of course, we have Klaus here. You know Klaus. We have Laura and Marina here from our marketing department. So we have sales covered. We have our customer service covered. We have our editorial team covered. And of course, I don't forget about Ingo and Maria. Also, he's for it's for our delivery, so newspaper delivery part. So he's very concerned and have very deep knowledge of our ERP system. So he's important too for us here. And so the main topics is like show them software, show them how it works, how our customer service could work with it, how subscriptions are structured, which is important. Like I shared the RFP document with you, so that's our main topics which are important for us. So if you can show us how the software works, how a subscription works, and how it will look for a customer, that would be great. And look for the backend team as well.
Okay, big thumbs up from Joachim there as well, I think. So fantastic. Okay, just to very briefly introduce the team, there's going to be two of us presenting to you today. My colleague Ben has joined the call. Do you want to just introduce yourself, Ben?
Yeah, cheers, Anna. Hi, guys. Lovely to see you all. My name's Ben. I've worked for Aptitude for 13 years, or right saying Yara is my kleiner Deutsch. So my job is pre-sales. I work with Anna on lots of publishing projects, lots of newspaper projects. Been doing a lot of stuff in Germany recently, of course, but also with a colleague on television or streaming OTT projects. So all around how we help media companies, I guess, sell their content online, but also preserve and look after their print business at the same time. And I'll do a demonstration of our eSuite platform. I've seen the RFP that Benjamin sent. I've answered the RFP that Benjamin sent. We've not sent it back just yet, but it's ready to go. So I understand your project. I'll try and demonstrate your project. I'll show you some other German publishers using our technology. But the most important thing, ask questions. It's your time. It's 90 minutes. Please ask as many questions as you need to, and we'll do our very best to answer them. So that's me. Back to you, Anna.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ben. And yes, Ben and I have both worked in the industry for 10 years apiece. So hopefully what you have here is the combined knowledge, about 20 years of understanding publishers' architectures, what the challenges are around subscriptions, and how best to architect technology platforms for the future. So hopefully I shared my screen as Ben was talking. Can everybody see that okay? Yeah? Okay. So if I just make a start, the format for the session today, we're going to keep initially quite high level. We felt that it was important for anybody who hasn't spoken to us before to understand the context of who we are and what we do. We're going to focus probably the majority of the time, once we've talked about the different sort of business functions in eSuite, on live demos. I've separated out questions, but I usually find that these sessions go well when you stop, interject, challenge us, ask us to show you different things as we go. So we'll try and go slowly and allow for questions as we walk through. But of course, we will set aside some time at the end. So please do feel free to jot down some notes in the chat section, or if there's something that you don't feel you have time to ask, write it in the comments section, and Ben and I will make sure that we cover all of your questions at the end. I'm going to start very briefly just with an overview of who we are and what we do. This is a short video. I'm not sure if that you'll get the volume, but this is just to present Aptitude as a company.
No sound.
Yeah, I have no sound too, but we will send you the video afterwards. Don't worry.
Sorry, is it lagging?
No sound.
Ah, no sound. Okay, all right.
Well, we can send it.
Ah, okay. All right, apologies. Okay, but I think the most important message in the video is we recently were acquired by a very large software group. And we looked at the branding, we looked at the company, and we looked at the areas that united our operations in finance, digitization, and in subscription management. The way that we stand out from our competition is by really truly understanding our partners' businesses, and we see our clients as partners, and by working with them to make sure complex projects are possible. And it's through the technology, it's through our understanding of the media and publishing industry that we can make sure that we support all of the operational business needs, regardless of the region, regardless of the format. And that's a really important message for us, is that we're in it for the long term. We're in it technically, but we're in it as partners to guide you, not just through the project, but into BAU and go live. Aptitude as a company, we have around about 120 global clients. Typically, we play in the enterprise space, working with media groups, banks all around the world. We particularly have a focus at the moment on the DACH region, certainly from a publishing perspective, because there's been a lot of change from a technology point of view, around SAP and some of the challenges around sort of publishers having managed print subscribers in SAP, trying to understand how they can move into the digital space without leaving that very important print business behind. There've also been a lot of changes in the industry, with Solera One being sold to Piano and on the front end, and the paywall space. So we're really focused on Germany, particularly regional publishing. And we've been working on about 5 different projects that we're signed at the moment to make sure that they transition their technology and future-proof their architectures to support whatever their product and monetization model is for the future. Here are some examples of some of our clients. A lot of these are global media brands. And what you'll notice here, hopefully, is our specialism in the media and entertainment space. We split into different tiers. So our clients consist of broadcasters, so OTT vendors, who arguably were at the forefront of digital transformation, working with companies like Hey, Channel 4, who have on-demand broadcast operations, video on demand. They were a little bit ahead of publishers because their main revenue stream was, of course, subscriptions and on-demand product sales. So we found our feet working with broadcasters, and that was really where the platform began about sort of 15 years ago. But quite quickly, our clients in the broadcast space introduced us to some publishers. We launched the first paywall in the UK back in 2009. And then we furthered our understanding and specialism in the media and entertainment industry to today. So you can see examples of some other publishing clients there, from the Toronto Star to McClatchy. L'Equipe is a big sports national newspaper in France. And then we've got people like ACBJ, who do business-to-business journals and physical product sales. More locally to you guys, some names that would be very similar would be Ashendorf. We've just gone live with Ashendorf for a brand new project where they've completely transformed their architecture with eSuite at the core. We're also working with Lensing Media, who are just beginning their project with us at the moment. Again, re-architecting, moving away from SAP. And actually, interestingly, plugging in various tools around eSuite to build out a new architecture. We're also working with Berliner Verlag and Schwäbische Media Group. Those projects have helped us make sure that we've adapted the product specifically for the German market and that we cover the German-specific use cases. In addition to that, the subscription economy, as we know it, is growing. So sport has been a huge growth area for us. Fans by nature are fanatical and very willing to pay for content. We have some very interesting projects, including MUTV with Manchester United, Juventus Football Club, Squash TV, all monetizing online content and video. And then lastly, as other businesses begin to look into recurring and sustainable revenue models, we are seeing a huge launch of other digital products. They find us, everything from contact lenses on subscription to car park passes to smartwatches, all supported via eSuite. So very briefly, forgive the slide, because this is kind of our everything in a slide deck, and we'll obviously dig into the detail in more detail, and it hopefully will give you some context when we move into the demo. But we very much understand our specialist areas. The first that you'll see here is the ability to build, acquire and manage subscribers. So in eSuite, in the back office, what you will see is the ability to be able to create new products, new services, new offers, to be able to manage pricing and tax. The key here really is around making this a task for business teams so that they can go faster. At eSuite's core is a billing engine. So we're actually PCI level 1 compliant, and our ability to create a CRM record for a subscriber and a wallet, and to be able to control that in a single platform, regardless of the product that they're buying, enables us to support lots of different business models, recurring revenue models, but also to optimize the life cycle and the revenue for each and every subscriber. So whether that is looking at new payment types for your customer journey, you know, integrating the latest types like Apple Pay, in-app payments, PayPal, or whether that's looking at subscribers in life and their transactions and optimizing every transaction, making sure that you don't have payment breakage or churn. The specialism around billing and our ability to be able to see data and analytics allows us to be able to make sure you inch out every last penny of revenue, regardless of the billing method or payment type. Last but not least, the acquisition of Aptitude Group has brought with it lots of additional capabilities around revenue recognition, financial reporting, and sort of data management. So again, by centralizing the customer and the financial and billing operations, we have a single view of what's happening with every transaction. It's far easier to be able to do things like deferred revenue reporting, revenue recognition, and really get to grips with what's happening in the back end. Last but not least, you'll see the arrow at the end relates to data and compliance. And for anyone who joins any industry event around publishing and subscriptions at the moment, you'll understand the importance of accessing your data and also actioning data about your subscribers. Arguably, second to your content, your product, your brand, your data is your most valuable asset. And again, you know, whether you are monetizing through subscriptions or advertising, data is increasingly important to allow you to be able to adapt and grow. So within the eSuite platform, not only do we provide the suite of reports and automated reports that you can access, but we also offer a data lake as a service that allows you to be able to extrapolate the most value from that data, integrate with other BI platforms, and work with data on a day-to-day. As you evolve, as you extend your business models, as you start to understand how to engage your customers and which products to launch, the data becomes the most valuable part of your business operations. You'll see along the bottom, we cover a lot of compliance. So lots and lots of our customers will work with eSuite to make sure that they support the very latest data regulations and security. So whether that's GDPR regulations, opt-in, opt-out, managing customer data, all of that is fully supported within the platform. We're PCI level 1 compliant, which means that we are as secure as a bank. That means that we can store credit card details for customers securely, and that we can essentially create e-wallets and bring into effect, you know, one-click transactions for returning users. And you can see there we've got IFRS 15, ISO 27001. I can get my words out. So all of your data compliance issues are fully covered and supported in the platform. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because it's a horrible slide, and I want to kind of move towards the demo quite quickly. The only point that I want to make here is that the reason why publishers choose to use eSuite is to transform their operations on a day-to-day. So what you'll see on the chart is that we're providing all of the functionality from, you know, administration of your subscription business, configuring products, services, onboarding new customers, managing customers in life and retaining them. But the key point here is that you can do it faster and more quickly with simple drop-down menus, and you can make tasks that previously the technical team were responsible for can now become tasks for business users. So if you want to launch a new product, a new service, a new price point, you can do that very quickly in a matter of minutes as a marketeer or a product owner. It's all about automating processes, speeding up time to market, and really making the most of the opportunities that provides you. You can go faster. One of the key things that differentiates us in the market was our focus on print. So I've been in the business about 10 years or so, and over that time, publishers have experienced a huge amount of change. For a long time, following the GDPR regulations and the launch, we received lots of RFPs from publishers looking to manage new digital products and services, but not wanting to forget about the print element of their database. Because let's be honest, mostly in Germany at the moment, what we're seeing is that probably still 80% of your subscription revenue is focused around print. So you want the best of both worlds. You want the new digital tools, you want the ability to launch all of the new business models, but you also want to centralize your data, centralize your operations. And in the market, if you look at the technologies available, what you typically see is either a sort of paywall vendor who's really great at digital, but has no idea about print operations, or what you get is a legacy print platform, which is really great at print, fulfillments, that side of things, but doesn't work well. No APIs, can't integrate into the front end, doesn't work well for digital. So we recognized this and we began to build. And over the years, we've extended the platform to support all of the print operations. So that includes being able to support bundles, being able to predefine the rules around bundles, being able to support fulfillments as well as digital entitlements, building in publication calendars, being able to provide data to fulfillment partners in the right format and integrate with them. So there's been a lot of development. It took us a couple of years to extend for print, because there's lots and lots of different factors that you have to take into account, whether that's, subscription holidays. In Germany, there's donation models, lots of different areas that we've found along the way that we've developed. However, we've done that now, and actually globally, that means that publishers can now move away from, separated customer journeys, digital over here, print over here, into a single solution. And that reduces operational cost from a platform perspective by about 50%, but it also streamlines operations, a single point for all product management, creation and customer data. So I mentioned at the start about billing, and I'm just going to labour the point a little bit here. Like I say, we are PCI level 1 compliant. Our clients are global. A lot of them have international operations. I understand that in Germany, probably majority of transactions are still around SEPA for print subscribers, and we absolutely support SEPA. But as we move into the digital space, we understand that a customer journey has to be really streamlined. You probably want to do a one-click transaction. Think your Netflix style customer journey, Spotify, a lot of you guys will have that. So we support all of the kind of core payment types. So that would be credit card, debit card, PayPal, Apple Pay. And you can see SEPA's there as well. We support in-app purchasing. So because of our OTT and broadcast partners, we have to do transactions on connected TVs, smart TVs. We have to have integrations with app stores for mobile integration, so that people can view content via an app, even if they bought it via the website directly. We also support things like Roku, Amazon. Alongside the in-app transactions, we know that a lot of our customers globally have regional differences. So I believe very much in offering the payment type that's most popular in each region. And you'll see there we've got Trustly, Klarna, things like Ideal, Mobile Pay. Important to say, Mobile Pay, when we added that to the customer journey in Denmark for a client, it increased the customer acquisition by 50%, the people that were coming through the purchase journey. So it is really important to understand the market, support all of the latest payment types, and be able to pick and choose. Should ZGO decide that they want to leverage a new payment type, that's just config for us. We've built the integrations already, so you can set up an account with those partners. You phone us up, we turn it on. It's as simple as that. You don't have to worry about integrating different payment types or how that works. So that's a really key point for lots of our clients. I'm nearly at the end of the slides, and then we'll dig into the demo. One of the other brief points that I wanted to touch on is our partner network. And again, what you get through working with a partner like Aptitude with a strong focus on media and entertainment is access to our partner network. Hopefully there's a few names that you'll recognize there. This isn't all of our partners. This is just, I pulled out some of the sort of partners that I thought might be familiar to you in the region, but you'll see there anything from people like Microsoft Azure, you know, for localized data centers and support, to people like Sophie and Mather, who are able to provide predictive tools. I think Sophie have like AI tools to help you acquire more customers, and we could take those algorithms in and work with those. Mather do loads of modeling. They're huge in the US, but again, they can help you with customer retention by modeling different price points. So they're testing dynamic pricing with lots of publishers in Europe at the moment. We've got partners in people like Schickler, so people that are both Lenzing and Aschendorf are part of the Schickler Drive project. So we're working with Schickler at the moment to be able to work with their data and work with their modeling to help them acquire more customers. We've got people like Forward Publishing and Core, who provide local language support, German support in project and implementation support services if we need them. And then we've got partners like Dialogue CRM, who are part of BDL, who you might be quite familiar with, who can also have pre-baked in technical integrations into eSuite to support publishers in the region. Hopefully what you take from that is that what we're doing is proactively identifying other technology vendors that can help you grow your business. So we don't just do the project and go live, we can do Project Turbocharge and plug in any number of third-party vendors as your architecture grows and develops. Finally, before we dive into the demo and some of the business context, I just wanted to share a few stats. Probably one of the most important stats, and one of the reasons why Aschendorf picked us, we're just going to do some press releases around this at the moment, but one of the things that they said they were most happy with was that we'd cut their ability, the time to market for new products, contracts and offers by 97%. Now, difficult to put a stat on this, but basically what they're saying is they can launch these in a matter of minutes using the tool with non-technical teams. That's huge for them as they begin to discover what works, what their customers will or won't buy, and how to find those customer acquisition peaks. We have taken clients from 0 subscribers to 100,000 in 18 months. These are greenfield projects that we've launched. I've already mentioned the operational cost reduction by having print and digital in a single solution. That has a huge impact, and also by changing the teams and the people that you need in order to deliver new products and services and manage subscriptions. Again, you can focus your technical teams on data, innovation and building your products, whilst we do the kind of generic subscriber management operations. Involuntary churn is huge for our clients. So involuntary churn relates to payment breakage. So sometimes if somebody's credit card expires or they lose it, or maybe if we go out to the bank and ask for a payment, the payment doesn't process, that in old world would mean that that subscriber would churn. In our world, we're able to optimize. We can auto update credit cards, we can use suppression windows, we can build in retry rules for has a huge impact on your bottom line. So aside from customer acquisition, we've taken payment breakage to under 1.1%, which is the equivalent to Netflix's operating model. That's huge for our client base because it adds revenue even before we add more subscribers. I think on the accounting pieces, I'm probably gonna just park some of the accounting pieces today because they're probably more relevant for some of our banking clients. Before we sort of, in fact, actually, I'll probably hand over to Ben. But before we move on, has anyone got any questions around any of that, or does that make sense? Just as a scene set. We're good. Okay. All right, Ben. So probably back over to you. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second, and I'm just going to bring up your slides to show the logic.
Yes, please.
But just bear with me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Ben.
Yeah. So thanks, Anna. You mentioned in your presentation the work that we've done to support both print and digital in one platform, and the efficiencies and the opportunities, benefits that can create. I'll do a demo in a moment, but ultimately this is what I'm going to be demonstrating. The way to think of this, and it will make a lot more sense when we go into the platform, is that every product that you guys want to offer to your customers, be that digital, so articles, could be podcasts, could be video, could be anything online at all, as well as the physical products, print, newspapers, magazines, books, t-shirts, whatever you decide, they would all be configured in our eSuite platform. So each one would be set up with its own name, its own description, its own price, its own tax, its own set of business rules. From there, they can be bought on their own as a single purchase, so a one-time payment just for that day's edition of the print newspaper or an e-paper or a t-shirt, or like the diagram shows, they can be wrapped together, they can be bundled within a contract. So you can have a digital product and a physical product, any number, that could be 2, it could be 20, where they are bundled inside the contract. And the contract is the subscription. It has the payment term, so you pay every week or every month or every year. It has a promotion, potentially a trial period, a low start price. It has the rules around the retry if the payment fails. How do we try and take the renewal in the future? The start date, the end date. So all of the rules of the subscription live at that contract level. When somebody buys that, what happens is that on their profile, we have an identity, we have an account for a user where we can see their name, their email, their password, their address. We add, for physical products, the fulfillment at the bottom. So each delivery, each print edition has its own fulfillment, which contains an address, it contains delivery information. And for every digital product, we add an entitlement, and the entitlement is a reference, a tag, a piece of information that a website or an app or a video player can check before it lets somebody access the content. So our platform, eSuite, will enable you guys, non-technical guys in product, in marketing, to set up digital products, physical products that are standalone, single transactions. They are part of a contract, part of a bundle. And when a customer buys those, they will inherit or receive the entitlement or fulfillment that corresponds. And I say, when I do a demo in a second, this will make a lot more sense. Anna, do you have the slide which is the architecture by any chance? You're on mute as well. If not, it's okay. I can send it to the guys afterwards. I was just keen to show where we fit into the wider view. But here we go. So in terms of where we fit, in terms of where eSuite, our product, sits in that wider stack, the light blue boxes are us. And again, don't worry about reading the detail. We'll share this with you, and it's very simplified. We understand. But subscriptions, products, payments, offers, promotions, identities, user profiles, churn, they're all in the box. They're all part of our platform as standard. We're not front end. We're not website developers. We're not going to provide, landing pages, SEO, forms, any of those things. And we're not going to provide the back end ERP systems, the financial management systems, the BI systems. We sit right in the middle, and we are integrated via a comprehensive, very productized API. So it's a cloud platform. It sits in Azure, Microsoft Azure in the EU. So Brexit, GDPR, all of those things are taken care of. The data stays in the EU, is your data. You own the data. We simply process it for you. And we push the data and pull the data around the rest of the architecture using an API and the webhooks. And our team would sit with your team. We'd come over and work with you to workshop and design exactly what this integration looks like. And that's probably a good point to jump into live demos, unless anybody has any questions about our introduction and the business and where we fit. Cool. I'll take that as a let's carry on. So let me share my screen.
We have a tough crowd, I think, for now.
No, it's all good. It's okay.
I think that they will all perk up and ask us lots of questions when we get into the live demo.
Maybe. You never know. So first, well, here's a question. Can you see my screen? Lots of nods, lots of thumbs. Good. Okay. All right. So the demo, what I'm going to do, I've got 4 tabs open here. I've got the product, eSuite. I have a very basic demo website, just a WordPress website. I have the API for reference, so we can show you which APIs are doing which functions, and we'll jump back into a little bit. And we have a support center. This is the documentation. This is how you do things, FAQs, training, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do is log into the back office, and I will give you a quick tour of all of the elements. What I also have on a second screen, I have some clients. So there's Ashendorf's website, I've got Berliner Zeitung, I've got the Irish Times, I've got TV client. So I'll show you on my demo, and then I'll show you the real world and real life examples, if that's okay. Firstly, though, let me show you. It's available in German. My German is terrible, as you saw at the start. So I'm going to stick to English if that's okay. But the whole of the back office is available in German. So from a customer support perspective, a product perspective, a marketing perspective, you'll be able to work in your local language. My local language is English, and sometimes that's difficult. So we'll start here today. So I'll log in. Every client has a unique client ID. So that's basically what separates your data, your settings, your configuration from everybody else's. It's a multi-tenanted platform in the cloud. The reason I talk kind of a bit technical about multi-tenanted is that because it's a shared platform, it has a good roadmap of products and of features and enhancements that are very media specific. So when we build new functionality for the Irish Times or for Ashendorf or for whoever, we add it to the product, and all of the other customers, all of our other clients are able to use those features. There's no separate versions. There's no on-premise versions and patching and updates. We release a new version of eSuite every 3rd week. Every 3 weeks we do a release. You don't have to take the release. It's version controlled. It's backwards compatible. But if in 6 months' time we add a new feature and you really like it, you will get it as part of the roadmap because all the clients have access to the same feature set. There's not different versions in different clients all around the world. So when I log in, the first screen I have touches on data that Anna made a point about being very important, and I would agree. So the first screen here is the dashboard screen, and it's a really high-level view of what is going on with our subscription business. There's some nice dashboards, some nice graphs to show how much revenue we're making, how many subscriptions we have, some recent orders, how many customer accounts are in the system. And as I scroll down, oh, and apologies, this is dummy test data. So you might see silly names, you might see Anna with a man's job, with a man's title. It's all a bit messy, so apologies for that. But you'd see here things like little pie charts and graphs to show which offers are working, which voucher codes are working the best, how many new accounts are being added, how do people like to pay, which payment types they like to use. a really high level view. Normally, the clients would take this, they do a screenshot, they stick it in their reports for the board, for the management, and away they go. You guys, some of you operational guys, will want to get into the detail. You want to drill down into this stuff. So to do that, you have two options. One is up here in the reporting tab. You can click into here and you can see all of the reports. But rather than me go into my dummy data and show you those ones, I'm going to go into the support center and show you the specifications and show you the list of all the different reports that are provided as standard. It's really important to remember that all of the data that sits inside the platform belongs to ZGO, and we will make it available to you. And we make it available in a few different options. One is the dashboard, the others are these reports. So for example, if I go into detailed reports, when this page loads, you'll see here a list of all of the standard reports that we make available via the console. So active subscription counts, churn prediction, views, customer support logs, account counts, direct debit transactions, the list goes on and on. I can then go into data feeds and you'll see a very similar view. So lots of pre-designed reports for marketing teams, finance teams, BI teams, whoever needs them. However, what we found recently is that clients want data. Every client wants their data in a different format, and it's almost impossible for us to just keep creating these custom reports. So what we did is we developed a data lake product, and this diagram illustrates the product. So over here on the left-hand side, we have the live production platform. So this is where the live customer data sits. It's being processed, subscriptions are being renewed. This is what I will show you in a second. What we do with that data is we take it from the shared platform, we take it into an AWS S3 environment that we look after, we pay for, we maintain, and we run some processes on it to take out sensitive data. We want to take out credit cards, as an example. We want to take out payment details, things that you don't want to see. And ultimately what we do is we process the data and we put it into a client data pool over here. So there'd be a data pool for each of the individual clients. There'd be a ZGO one, there'd be an Ashendorf one, there'd be a Sky one, there'd be an NBC one. You guys have credentials to come and log into this data lake and see your data, write queries, use Athena, use tooling to understand this data and report on it from within an environment that we look after. However, if you have an environment of your own, or you have a data strategy where you want all of the data from all of the different technologies you use in one place, we can set up a procedure to push that data from our S3 environment into your S3 environment or your GitHub, whatever repositories you might be using. So we would push all of the data in here. You can then use whatever tooling you guys like, be it Tableau, be it Power BI, to look at that data, create your own in-house reports. And to show you the type of data we have in here, there's a comprehensive data dictionary. Basically, it's the whole database schema. We push all the data into that data lake. You guys have access to it and can write whatever reports that you will need across whatever areas of the business. And you have complete autonomy to do that. You're not reliant upon our development team to build reports and get data for you. You guys can log in and access it yourselves. So that's data, that's reporting. Hopefully makes sense. What I wanted to do next was talk through the other tabs up here. So typically clients or customers, end customers, follow a life cycle, right? They come to your website for the very first time and they're completely anonymous. We know nothing about them. It's just a unique visitor on the website. I'm sure you have Google Analytics and lots of tools to try and understand and segment them, and DMPs and CDPs and things like that are very popular at the moment. But ultimately, the very first time someone comes to your website, you know nothing about them. So you may want to have some kind of paywall. And I saw in the RFP talking about a registration wall, 5 articles, I think it says, before somebody has to pay, or sorry, somebody has to register. So the first tab I wanted to show you is metering here. So as part of the eSuite product, we have a metering console, which enables you to build rules that determine when somebody can access content, a paywall, effectively. So you can see here in our metering console, I can build a rule that says if the customer hits one of these blue conditions, then the green consequence will take effect. These are the inputs, these are the outputs. So for example, if the consumer is logged in, you might drag that one across, then give them access to the content. If the consumer's meter is less than 5, then give them access to the content, and you want to count the article towards their limit. So you can build out these paywall rules in here. Ultimately, for the techie guys on the call, all this is doing is building a JSON rule file. And if you read, and if anyone can read this, it's saying if they're coming from a website that contains MPP Global, that's what our company used to be called before Aptitude bought us, then we're going to let them view the content. Okay, so grant access is there. So you can build out these rule files that determine who can view content, who can read the website. And examples of what people are doing, if I scroll down, it can be things like redirect to a purchase flow, redirect to a registration journey, so a reg wall, a paywall, increment the count, do an A/B test, return a voucher code, show them a promotion, show them information about a subscription. And you can build out a rule that's super comprehensive in here. Additionally, as Anna showed on a slide, we've got integrations into lots of partners who do this as well. So we're working with companies like Zephyr, like Piano, where their paywall element, their metering element, sometimes it includes the front end journeys, can be integrated with the subscription and product management piece of eSuite. So there's a conversation to have there, but where you have reg walls, we can meet it with these products, or we can work with partners. Go on, Anna.
Just to interject and to give some colour to that, in the Aschendorf project, they're using our paywall technology to build out their rules as they get started. And then as a next step, as they want to use their data in a more complex way, we can introduce partners. At Lensing, they were already using Piano for the paywall, and they like the WYSIWYG UI. So at the Lensing project, we're integrated. Well, we've got an integration with Piano's paywall. So there are options here. Aschendorf feel like this is enough for them at the moment, and they don't need 2 separate tools. Lensing already had Piano, so we can integrate it. So it's just important to add a bit of colour to what some of the other publishers in Germany are doing at the moment.
Yeah. I see a thumbs up from Joachim, so that's good. So that's metering, and that's normally right at the start of the journey. And typically, if you follow a basic flow, somebody hits a wall, a registration wall, and they need to register, they need to create a profile. So if we move to the other end of the UI, I have a customers tab in here. So this is identities, this is profiles, this is registrations. So if I search, we saw Anna's name before. So if I search for Anna, her surname is Lobb, and find a customer, we have the full identity management suite for all customers. So this is customer care. This is where you would answer phone calls, search for customers, view their accounts. What I'm going to do in a moment is buy a subscription. So we'll use the customer I create and manage that account and show you how you do a refund, how you do an upgrade, a cancellation, a holiday, whatever it might be. So the customers tab is where all the customers live and where you can search and find customer accounts. Next one along is orders. So within this customer, we have an order tab here. This is all of Anna's payments. Every payment she's made for her subscription, you can see it's credit cards, 29 euros. The orders tab is another way to get to that information, but not on a customer specific basis. So if, for example, if we wanted to see all of the payments made between the 4th of January and the 11th of January, I can click filter and it will run a search, and there are all those transactions. I can run a CSV. I can download that as a report. That's really useful for the finance guys. If I want to see how many refunds we've given, I could click on this drop down. I can go down to refunds, click filter, and guess what? There've been none because it's fake data. But you can get a list of all the refunds. It's a way to access the transactions. The important part to note with orders are monies you receive either by payments that we are processing, credit cards, SEPA, Apple Pay, PayPal, but also offline payments, invoices that are processed, outside of eSuite via an invoicing and a bank transfer system. It can be for things like cash or checks. If people come into the office and give the receptionist some money for their subscription, I know it still happens sometimes, that can be supported. We have the idea of offline payments. And also where there are payments that are being processed that we cannot be involved with, like app stores. So if you have an app and you want to have a subscription, Apple or Google, for Apple and iOS and Android, will process those payments. They have to. That's the rules of the App Store. They will take 30%, 15% the next year, but they will process the payment and you will then receive the money a bit later. We have integrations into those app stores. So if I show you the API for a second, where we can take those payments that are processed in iTunes, processed in Google, and we can store them in eSuite. So the idea here is that this order tab will have all the payments, all of the transactions that you guys are collecting across all of the different payment types, the ones that we're managing for you, as well as the ones that we cannot manage, like app stores, like offline cash and check payments. So the order view is an important part because that will then feed all of the reports, all of the customer service, and is linked, of course, to all of the product sales and all of the subscription sales. So that's the order tab. If I jump these two, because these are where I'll spend a lot of time in a moment, we have offers. And I've seen in the RFP talk of trials, discounts, free periods, those types of things. In our world, we would call those offers, promotions, vouchers. So there's lots of different ways you can set up promotions in eSuite. One of them is in here, and is voucher codes. So just to show you the different types, if I pretend to make a new voucher, a new marketing discount, I can come in here, I can give this a name. So let's put ZGO test, description, ZGO test. I can choose from 5 main different types of offer. I've got a low start offer, first month for free, 6 months half price, those types of promotions that I'm sure you do today. You see them on every subscription service everywhere. So you have low start offers. You then have add credits. Type in this voucher code and get 20 euros to spend on the website. I'm sure if anyone's got kids, my kids got loads of these for Christmas and they want cash. And I've got voucher codes for every department store in England that I don't really want because my kids got them for Christmas. Those add credit offers are those codes. Type in this code, £20, 20 euros to spend on the website. Then you've got percentage discounts, 20% off the ticket price, 50% off, 100% off, makes sense. Group discount offers. If you buy A and B, you get C for half price. Buy one, get one free. Buy 5 items, get the cheapest one for half price. Those types of promotions we call group discount offers. And then the bottom one, fixed price, €5 off the price, because sometimes a percentage leaves you with a horrible number that the marketing guys might not like. So a fixed price can be €5, €10, €20 off the ticket price. If I pretend to build one, choose fixed price, I get to then choose which subscriptions, monthly, say to Zone, one of the people we're speaking to, monthly here, annual here, 6-month subscription. And I'm going to say for one period, there's no lock-in period. It's going to give anybody who gets this promotion 20, all the currencies turned on, €20 off the price. And it starts today and it's going to end at the end of January. So it's the January sale offer, €20 discount. If you sell into other countries, I'm not sure if you do, but say, for example, you sold into Switzerland and you wanted to give people with the same voucher code 50 Swiss francs off the price, the same voucher can work in multiple currencies. You can also put rules around who can use the voucher. It can be used by anybody and an unlimited number of times. But only once per individual, once per customer. This might be something that you print on the side of a bus, on a billboard, in the print newspaper, a mass marketing offer. Or maybe you want to go the other way. You want to do churn prevention and it's for a specific individual user. can only be used once, and it can only be used once per customer. This could be a promo to stop churn. Sorry, you're leaving. Here's a promo code just for you. It's going to give you a year for half price. The system will stop that being used by another customer. You can do this for your VIPs. If you want the CEO to have a free subscription, you type in his account ID, you say, this is your voucher code, and you give him a $100 discount, €100 discount. So there's lots of applications of this, and you can mix and match across this. You can also see down here, limiting it to new users only. So if you're an existing customer, sorry, it won't work. And do you need the payment details? Do you need to add a credit card or a PayPal account to be able to use this promotion? Most people say yes. I'm sure we've all had those scenarios where you forget to cancel before the subscription trial. That's that option there. You need your credit card before you can have this promotion. The idea is that people will tick automatically over into the renewing process. So that's offers, and that's vouchers, that's marketing for acquisition, but also to try to win back customers and stop customers cancelling.
Ben, maybe if we just pause there briefly.
Yeah.
I think Benjamin said we've got some guys from marketing on the call. Just a quick question back. Is there anything you can't see that you would need?
Marina is shaking her head. Let's do that.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So to get into the real heart of the demo, we have these two tabs here, products and services. So if you remember the slide, products were the t-shirts, the print edition, the podcast, the website, and services are the contracts. So the way I think of this, products, if I click into it, these are the things that the customer actually wants to buy. This is, the customer doesn't want to buy a subscription. The customer wants to buy your news, or to buy your video, or to buy your merchandise. So you would have a product set up for every single consumable item that the customer wants to buy. So some German examples in here. Weekday e-paper, weekend e-paper. You come down here, someone I did a demo to recently wanted to sell eggs. So 6 eggs. They're all products, and they're typically either physical products or digital products. So to show you a physical product, if I go for a weekday newspaper and I edit this one, this weekday newspaper has all of the data, all of the information needed to be able to be purchased or bought by a customer on its own. Has a name, it has a description, it has an ID, and within it are a number of parameters. So things like the lead time. If I was to buy this newspaper or this product, when is the soonest it can be delivered? It's going to take at least 3 days to be at your house. Is this product a one-off item in a bundle? Is it a gift that's part of a bundle? No, it's the main product. What's the title? And we can have as many of these parameters as we need to. This is super important because we know that with print, downstream of us, in distribution, in logistics, in warehouse, there are lots of pieces of data that those guys need to be able to perform their jobs. So we would set all of these up as parameters and make sure that all of that information is available in this console, but also in those reports and in those data feeds and via that data lake. So distribution, logistics, deliveries can all operate. Additionally, we know this is super important for reporting, E4V as an example. There'll be information about this product that you need to calculate your E4V reports. We can store that here within these parameters. Below this, you have the issuing schedule. So the weekday newspaper has an issue schedule of, guess what, weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This can be edited. So if it's a weekday newspaper or a full week, we can tick the right days like this. If it's something like a monthly magazine, we can change this to monthly, and we can say that this magazine is always published on the 9th of the month. If it's not got a nice standard schedule, we can pop in custom dates. You'll also see there that we can have exception dates. So it's weekdays, but we don't publish on Christmas. So if I jump through, I can click Christmas Day and say, well, Christmas Day, we don't publish. So you're creating the issue schedule. And what happens, back to the diagram, is that when somebody buys this issue schedule will be used to add deliveries or fulfillments to their account. So if I buy this weekday newspaper, I just cancel what I was messing around with. If I buy this one time, I'm going to have the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday added to my profile as objects that can be then sent downstream into the delivery systems. And I'll show you that in a moment. Also on here, I have the pricing config. So I have the base price. If I'm to buy the weekday newspaper one time as a single purchase, it's going to cost me, well, 29 Canadian dollars, 19 euros, 15 pounds, and I probably got a US price down here somewhere as well, $20. We'd obviously turn off the currencies that you don't want. You don't want Chilean pesos. So we turn off all of this and make it look a bit neater. That's my default product. Sorry, my default price. I can also have a VIP price, a Spanish price, different prices for different regions, different prices for students, different prices for institutions, for banks, for old people. However you want to price it, you can set it up. So you have this matrix of the pricing for a single transaction, a one-time purchase. You can also set up pricing when the weekday newspaper is bought as part of a contract. So if you buy the weekday newspaper on an annual, you pay annually, you pay once per year. The cost of doing that, I could type in a number in here, 124 Singaporean dollars. Someone has used. You would type in, 150 euros, whatever the price might be. And the same idea with monthly. So you can set up the weekday newspaper to have lots and lots of different pricing options. And you would set up those products for every single item you wish to sell, physical and digital. What you then do alongside it is you set up your contracts. So these are the subscriptions. These are going to control the rules of the subscription. How often do I pay? What's the retry if the payment fails? What's the grace period? What's the holiday entitlement? What's the trial? Here's some examples. So if I go into monthly, you'll see in here all the rules. It's very similar. All the rules that I can configure as a non-technical person about a monthly subscription. So if I click the pencil, you can see the grace period. During the grace period, the customer can leave at the start, but also during the grace period, if the payment fails, they have 3 days where they will still have access to the website, still receive the newspaper if there's a print edition, before we tell them something has gone wrong. And during this grace period, we will try to retry the payment. We will run this retry scheme to try and get the money from their account. We can also configure things like lock-in periods. You cannot cancel for the first 6 months would be an option. We can set the renewal. So this is set to be a payment every 1 month that automatically renews forever. Every month, we will take a payment from this customer until they tell us to cancel or until we fail and we cannot get the money. That's how Netflix does it. That's how all of the subscription video services do it. That's where I think most newspapers would like to get to avoid the manual renewal process, the letters in the post, the slips, the checks, all of that stuff. However, we know that there are slips, there are checks, there are letters, so you can set this up so it has a fixed end date, or it has a set number of payments, or it doesn't renew at all. It's a 1-year access that doesn't renew. That's effectively how most newspapers have done print subscriptions. You pay for a year. At the end of the year, you get a letter. Would you like to renew? And you sign up again. That's the configuration to support that model. Just undo that. You've also got things like license levels. If there's a family subscription, so more than one edition is posted, or a corporate subscription, it's to a business and there's 20 people who need access, you can set the levels in here, and you can choose the payment types. So you can have credit cards, PayPal, all the ones we've spoken about. What this is showing you, though, if you have a weekly subscription, which maybe is going to be very cheap, €5, €10, and maybe you're targeting it at the younger people, maybe those younger people aren't going to be interested so much in SEPA or offline payments. Maybe they want to pay using PayPal or Apple Pay on their phone. You can have different payment options on different subscriptions to try and drive different audience engagements. Other bits in here, trial periods. So if you buy this, you get the first month 3/4 discount, 75% off. Cancellations, can you cancel? What happens if you do? Do you get a refund? Do you get a credit? Do you get a full refund? Do you get no refund? Holidays, can you pause your subscription? Yes, but these are the criteria that mean that you qualify or don't qualify. We support donations. So if people want to pause their subscription while they go on holiday, but they want their print edition to go to the hospital or to the children's home, we support that model, which is popular, I believe, in Germany. And you can see, you get the idea. You're configuring the rules of the subscription. So what this leaves us with, and one eye on the clock, is we've got all the products set up individually. We've got all the services, the different contracts. If I go to my website now and pretend to be a customer for a moment, if I go to purchase bundle, I'm in euros. I have two business models now that are available to me. One is I can choose a bundle. So I can look in here and I can buy a bundle that has been defined and configured by you guys, by your product team. And that's done in the back office. So if I go into products, I go into bundles, product bundles. You can see here is my print and digital bundle. If I click the pencil, you can see my configuration. There's my name. There's my description. Here's my product list. It's exactly the same as in here. I can click through and I've got the digital news product ticked, and I've got the weekday newspaper, the weekday e-paper, and the video content. And I want people to be able to buy this annually, monthly, and weekly. And I want to price them like this. So in euros, 35 euros for the weekly, 190 for the annual, and 46 for the monthly. All the pricing in here gets pulled through from the configuration that you put into the product in here. So on the front end, if I go to print and digital, there's 35 euros. That's the same product. So I could buy this now. So you can do these predefined bundles in the back end. The API that's driving the journey, say the full journey, forget how this looked, forget the colors, forget the design. You guys would build this using the API. This is calling an API effectively to get bundles, to pull back the bundles that are configured. The other business model, if I go back to here, is that you can now let your customers, if you want to, of course, you can let your customers build their own bundle. They can come through and they can see all the products that are available in euros. And they can go, well, I would quite like the weekend, where's the weekday newspaper? That's the one I was looking at. I quite like the Sunday e-paper, please. And I would like your puzzles and crosswords. So they're choosing the products that they like. And then they come through and they say, well, I'd like to pay for that on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis. So they're choosing, back to here, they're choosing the different contract, the service that they want to pay using. So let me just say, I want to pay monthly. If we continue this journey now, I want to sign up. I'm a brand new customer. I type in all my details. We can collect loads. We can collect very little, completely up to you. If you just want to collect an email address and a password, fine. We click sign up. Kane Brady, that's the name. We add our payment details. So we type in our credit card, we type in our bank details, depending on what the payment types that we've selected are. I'm going to add a new card. Use monthly again. That credit card, by the way, never goes through your infrastructure, goes directly to us. We are the payment processor. You don't need a third-party payment gateway as well. We will take that piece. We will store the credit card in our databases securely. We will then integrate. We'll be pushing the credit card to your bank and saying to your bank, hey, we want to process a payment for 25 euros. And we do the whole payment processing piece. It's realized that there's a print edition, so we need an address. So we add the address. And because this is all on the front end in the website, we can do address validation against the database from the distribution logistics guys. That can all take place. Here's a summary. It's going to be 30 euros, 29.50. I click purchase. eSuite then goes off, processes that transaction into your bank account. And ultimately, the customer sees a little notice that says, thank you. And they can then, if there's a digital edition, they can then browse the website and read the news. You can see that Kane is now logged in and I can view my subscription. I can view my orders. I can manage my devices. I can check my deliveries, etc., etc. What that looks like from a back end is here's Kane, here's the account. We can see that Kane Brady, who lives at this address in Santa Monica in England, doesn't really make sense, but you get the idea, is worth €29.50 because he only made one payment. There is that payment. So there's that order. He has the entitlement on his profile now to read puzzles and crosswords between the 11th of January and the 14th of February. He has the Sunday e-paper. So the 15th of January, that's Sunday coming up. The 22nd, that's next week. So individual e-paper entitlements. I can see that he's not in any corporate account groups. He's not in any groups, but he could be. He could be in a family group. He could be in a business account. I can see his order. I can click into it. So as a customer care guy, I can say, okay, well, we can see that you made a payment of €29.50 on the 11th of January. And it was for these 3 products. And there's the breakdown of the net and the gross and the tax rate. So the finance guys will like that. The reporting is really straightforward. Oh, and your Sunday e-paper, the app didn't work. Okay, well, I can refund that edition for you. And they can click this button and they can do a refund and they can say, you know, it's the reason code, yeah, 123, app failed. Send the customer an email to confirm and do a refund just for that £5.80, well, €7 part of that subscription. Or they're happy with it, but they want to change their address. So on the 13th of February, I'm not going to be at home. I'm going to be at my holiday house by the beach. I need to change my address. So I can add a new address and I can say, this is where I'm going to be, you know, Beach Road or whatever it might be. All of the customer care around print deliveries can be done within this back office. Yeah.
Sorry, just to interject really quickly. I think one important thing to point out here is that everything that you can see Ben doing in the back office is available via API.
Absolutely.
So we skirted over the customer self-care pages quite quickly on the demo environment, the kind of pretend publisher website. But it's really important to add that your customer support could be potentially reduced by allowing customers to manage their own accounts.
Yeah. Well, so for example, if I go here, this is Kane. I can go into orders. This is the API. And there's that transaction, €29.50. I can see the 3 items that it's relating to. If I close that for a second and go into fulfillments, and he wants to go to the holiday house on Beach Road on this date, we can click this and we can see the address and we can edit the address. So we can change the address as a customer directly. As Anna says, it's all on the API. So we can go into here, we can find the account API, we can update the account. There's that API method. If we want to change delivery, we can go into here and we can set delivery patterns, change delivery information. We can manage customer addresses. It's all there as a standard feature of the platform. Yeah. It's not custom builds. We just got to integrate it correctly.
Yeah. And this is the key. So we don't build the front end, but the way that we integrate with it dynamically allows you to go in and change a price, and that takes effect immediately, or allows a customer to go in and manage their own account, change a payment detail, and that takes effect immediately. So that's where we really feel that we change operations,
yeah,
and hopefully impact that in a positive way.
Yeah, and just to round this out, you know, within this customer care view, we can see the customer's payment details. It's obviously starred out. So if the customer gets a new card, they can ring up and you can change this, type in a new card detail. Again, of course, you can do that on the API via self-care. If the customer rings up and wants to cancel their subscription, you can see the subscription, you can see the components. You might be able to say, well, don't leave. We'll apply a voucher code. We'll give you a discount. So you could pop in a voucher code that gives them 20% off for the next month instead. Maybe they ring up because they're going to go to the US for 6 months for work and they want to pause their subscription. You can configure the holiday in here. Or maybe if they move just to a different address, a different city, you can change their address and you can set up things like patterns. So weekdays to the office, weekends to the house, things like that can be configured. Or redirections on between this date and this date, redirected to this address. If they want to cancel, of course, you can do that. An immediate cancellation over there, or a softer cancellation that we just won't try and take a payment at the end of the month. Or you maybe say, well, don't cancel. Let's downgrade you to a cheaper package, or let's upgrade you to a more expensive package. We can do that, and the system will do all of the calculations around how much to charge them or how much to refund them. Final little bits, credit balances, giving people money to spend. You have a view of that in here. So rather than a refund, we're really sorry that the newspaper wasn't delivered today because it was raining or because the delivery driver was sick or whatever. We're going to give you some money back. We're going to knock €5 off your account, for a failed delivery. So you can put €5 onto their account. You can do this automatically, of course, via the API. There's €5 as a sorry, as a goodwill gesture onto your profile. You can see €5 credit now. You can log support, so you can see there's me adding €5. There's an event. There's a log for that, and you can type these in manually, type in any details that you like. There's a view of the entitlements. So the front ends, the websites can check the user's profile. Again, via a lightweight API, there's an API in here somewhere, entitlements, to validate access check if somebody has paid or not, or if they have the right credentials. We can manage chargeback, and we also manage devices. So we can limit how many digital devices are linked to the customer's profile. The idea here is that Kane is paying. He can read your newspaper website on 4 devices. It stops him giving his passwords to all of his friends and family, and they have to sign up for themselves. I'm sure people on the call have got Netflix passwords that their brothers and sisters and whoever else are paying for, and they just log in and use. That's potentially losing you guys revenue if people are sharing their passwords for your services. This device management can cut down on that. So that's the demo in there. Final piece, very quickly, and you're welcome to do this in your free time, just to show you what it looks like in the real world. So my demo website, my WordPress skin and my journey, let me reset, where I could choose predefined and build your own bundle, in the real world would look something like this. So if we go down the road to Munster, click into here, from this point, all of this information, so if I go to a print edition, print subscription, this price is being pulled to the API on the eSuite API. There is an API called Get Prices. So if I go here for a second, if I go into here and go to Services, Retrieve Subscription Services, this API, not loading for some reason, this API is being used by Ashendorf to get these prices, to show the details of the subscriptions. There's all of the different types of subscriptions that you can buy. Look how many different versions there are. Students, 6 weeks for the summer holidays, all those types of things that are fully supported, all running in our platform. If I go through and pretend I want to buy one, start date, so choosing the start date. If I'm going to go into here as an example, go into account subscriptions, and I want to purchase a subscription, this API, you'll see in here, you get to choose the start date. That API method there, that's Ashendorf have built this front end on top to let the customer choose the beginning date, choose their billing frequency. I'm sure you get the idea. Go to Berlin, same idea. If you go up here to subscriptions, they've gone much simpler. There's 4 different columns, the 4 different packages. If you do scroll down, maybe you want to buy issue number 5 of the history magazine. Again, all set up in eSuite. I've got Teams in the way. I can't actually get this little Teams thing to go. I don't know if you can see it. But I've also got on here the Irish Times, who have, sorry, I have to go through Google's. Teams has crashed a little bit, but these guys have, standard, premium, puzzles, Sudoku, all set up in eSuite. Come down here, corporate subscriptions, gift subscriptions, sending a gift to somebody else. Choosing the payment frequency. It's the same idea. How it looks is completely up to them. It's all built on the same API. And then on the TV world, I show you this one because I actually subscribe in the real world. This isn't just a demo. This isn't just me visiting the website. This is my real account. This is where I watch Premier League football. So if I go into my account, manage my account, you can see in here the self-care that Anna talked about. I'll probably have to log back in. Yeah, 1 second. So I log back in. You can see in here, here's my membership. Here's my devices. So these are my devices linked to my profile. So there's my phone, my iPad, my TV. when I used it last, and if I want to remove them, I can. If I want to upgrade my package because I want to add more devices, I can pay £5 extra to add HD, I think it might be. If I want to see my payment history, if I want to change my credit card, if I want to change my password, all of those things can be done via a self-care. There is no phone number. I cannot ring these guys up and ask them to do it for me. I have to do it myself. All of that is developed against this API. Payment details, for example, would be here to update payment details. I know there's only 5 or 6 minutes left,
yeah,
so
I'm going to
be
pause
quiet
you
now,
there
but
then.
back to you, Anna.
Hopefully what we've done there is given you a good high level overview of how the platform works, and I hope that what you can do as we were doing that is visualize how your business would work using the same technology. Who do I pick on? Has anyone got any questions before I pick on individuals? Ingo, you were going to be the person I was going to pick on, actually. Yeah. So,
thank you.
Please.
I tried in English. I apologize for my bad English. I'm not used to speak it, but as I saw, eSuite, is it possible to manage most of the processes of the physical newspaper? That is right, like holidays and something like that. What about complaints, delivery complaints? I work in the delivery. I'm responsible for delivery. And if some of our deliverers is late, for example, slept over or something like that, where's the information for this being late? Do I add this into eSuite, or have I, or must I type it somewhere else, and via API it goes into eSuite? How is the communication? Is there an interface with another ERP system, or what is the way for this?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's different ways to do it. It depends on the distribution systems. So if there is a complaint, let's just say it's snowing and we cannot deliver the newspaper.
Yeah.
The customer rings up. So either, let's say the customer phones up.
Yeah.
The customer rings up to complain. What do you guys do? Do you say, we're really sorry, we're not going to do anything, we're going to give you a refund, we're going to reorder it for tomorrow? How do you operate? I guess
if it's a global thing like winter or snow, I would say all in customer care would say the same. Oh, it's snowing, wait, an hour or two, maybe it comes, maybe not, but you will get the refund for this today, and if it comes, it's okay. But what it's daily business, daily task, it's one delivery or one deliverer who's late, has about to deliver, let's say 100 newspapers, and they are not on time today up to 6 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Today we put this in the ERP system, and it says this district today is 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And that's the question: where do I do this with eSuite, or won't I do it with eSuite? Have I to do it with another system?
Yeah, and I don't want to say definitely one way or the other. You could do it in eSuite, absolutely. So if I share for a second again, I'll show you. So one way, if you know that Kane's delivery is going to be late, he rings up and his delivery is late, the first thing you would do is you would say late. You'd log it here, late delivery, okay? So Kane phoned as delivery was late. So that's, I'd log that and I could set it to a phone call. When I click post, what happens, that's added to his account in real time. But for the technical guys, a webhook fires because there has been a change to his account. What we'd need to design is we'd have to set up a listener. There'd have to be something that can hear the webhook and then send that information to wherever it is needed. So maybe that needs to go to the distribution, to the warehouse, to the delivery company, so they can redeliver at a different time. Maybe it's sent to the webhook, which then calls an API to give the customer a refund. Calls the API to give them their money back. So we'd have to design that workflow. The other way of doing it is that customer support log. You can add a ticket, so you can create a log from a different system. So the other option is you do this in the ERP, or the distribution guys do it in their system. And when they do it, their system tells eSuite, it calls this API to add the support log. And at the same time, it can give them a refund or cancel the order or whatever it might be. We need to work through the process. So without giving a clear answer, I know, either you type it in here and that starts the process and triggers the refund or triggers the redelivery, or another system starts it, calls our API, which then does in our system what we need to do. Which is make customer care aware and maybe do a refund.
Okay, but both ways are possible. I think this could be a way, because we know in the distribution what's going on, no? Who is late, no? And it's not everybody, it's about, let's say, 50 to 100 customers, their newspaper will be late, no? And there's a specific information only for these customers, not for everybody. So this information has to be available only for these customers if they ring up. If everybody else rings up, it doesn't matter. No, so this could be a way for.
And you would do that. You'd call the API, and you would pass in here. This is the account ID, so you know all the IDs of all the customers who are affected, and you would use the API to add that note to their account. What is worth saying that if you guys like eSuite and we start a project together, what we would do is we would come to your offices and run workshops, and we would send over our implementation team. So we'd have a project manager and some guys who've implemented eSuite at, what we would do is we'd get the guys who've done the Aschendorf project, who've done the Schwäbische project, who've done the other German projects, who will have done this and will know what the best way to do it is. And they would work with you guys in customer care, but also distribution to understand what's possible and what's best.
So Aschendorf did not use distribution for this. So these processes. Like
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% clear which option they went with. We can find out and let you know. But the people who do know would come to your office to do those workshops.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I guess by the same token, Ingo, if we would need to look into your distribution solution and understand whether that has an available API. But there's every possibility that you could signpost customers online as well. So if you have a specific, if your distribution system allows you to be able to present a delay for a particular region, there's no reason why you couldn't pull that API through to the customer self-care platform, so that when they log in, before they make a phone call, they can see, there's a problem in my area. It depends on the distribution platform and whether the API is available, of course. But there's lots of options, and I think the reason why it's quite difficult to give a one answer that's the same is because everybody has different business logic in terms of what they want to do at the point that there's a delay. So we have to be flexible enough to support. Maybe you're just going to give them a credit. Some of our customers will say, right, well, you didn't get your newspaper, but here's free access to the digital version. There's lots of different ways that you can deal with that. So that's why it's that's why it's a what do you want to do, as opposed to this is exactly how everybody does it. Okay, we're actually a minute over time. I'm okay for a few minutes, Ben, if you are.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions before we wrap up?
I do have a little question. It's about price increase. So if we change our prices, normally we just increase our prices, not decrease our prices. So how the flow would be when we say we increase our price of about 5%, 10%, how it would look like.
Yeah. Okay. I'll show you, because again, it's easier to demo it. So it's real. So you've got all of your products set up in here. So let's find a product. The weekday e-paper. This at the minute has a price of 11 euros. Okay. So there's a few different ways. Again, to Anna's point, it depends how you want it to work. If you want this price change to affect existing customers, all you would need to do is click edit, oops, and change the price from 11 to 12. Click save. Price is now €12. That means that everybody who has this product in their subscription at the next renewal, when their next payment is taken, we will now take €12, not €11. If, however, you want to leave the current subscribers paying €11 and only new customers pay 12, so only the new customers pay the new price, what you would do is you would use a different price roll. So you would have a new price here. You'd have, the 2023 price. And what you would do if we go back to the websites for a second, where this price is being pulled through, it would be doing a get price, and it would be looking for the specific price of the 2023 price roll. So you have two options. One is you can just change the price here, and everybody who is buying this product will see the new price on their next payment. Or you leave this price active, and you create a new price. So you're archiving this one, and you create a new price, and you tell all of the front end websites, all of the landing pages, this is the new price, and all new users take on the new price. Does that make sense?
Well, I guess what's important to know here is that your product list should be smaller, because we should only have a product for each consumable.
Yes.
So we, instead of every time we launch a new product, creating a whole new product in the back office and ending up with subscribers, 100 different versions of the same product, your product list should be e-paper, newspaper, Sunday weekly edition. That makes it far easier to manage price increases, updates, etc. So that might be a difference to the way that things happen today. You might have hundreds of different iterations of pricing for the same product, that in eSuite that would look quite different.
Benjamin is nodded, but I can see he's on a dad duty, so don't worry about unmuting. It's cool.
Okay. So I've recorded the session today. So for anyone that wants to go back, have another look, maybe watch sections a little bit more slowly, I'll make sure that I forward the recording after this call. I also have further sessions with Benjamin to do some more detailed replies and a detailed proposal on each of the individual use cases. In terms of next steps, would anyone on the call like any further information at this point, or would like me to follow up on any of the topics that we've covered? No, you're quiet bunch this morning. Okay, well, hopefully that's a positive sign and means that we've given a detailed enough view. Just take the opportunity to say thanks again for the time, and just to underline the focus for Germany. This really is an important sector for us, and one that we're investing in. So I very much hope that we've given you a good overview of the product and a good experience, and I hope that we can look forward to workshops in the future with you guys, and I'll follow up with you, Benjamin, directly.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will collect additional answers, and probably that will help everyone who still has some questions.
Yeah.
I think I heard our accounting department has a few questions, and they are very specialized, probably too specialized for the audience today, except for Klaus. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, please, everybody on the call, you all have mine and Ben and I's email addresses. So if you do have questions, please feel free to reply in to the chain. We're at your disposal. Okay, good. We'll let you all carry on with your day, childcare, amongst other things, lunch, all of those fantastic things. Lovely to have met you all. And yeah, I hope we speak soon.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.